Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for joining us. Today we're doing a bit of an experiment. We're playing a little indie RPG game that I picked up at Labyrinth Games and Puzzles probably 8 months ago or so. I have a strong passion for story, flavor text, RPG storytelling, and I have been exploring the world of little indie zines. And so The Skeletons by Jason Morningstar is one that was recommended to me and I have wanted to play for a bit. And I decided that we would bring Michael Matthews on, who has no experience with RPGs whatsoever, but has an overactive imagination just like mine, loves artistic expressions, and actually designed the Quackalope logo, despite the fact that he'll never get a shirt. And so, sir, if you want to start this off, we'll explain a little bit about what's going on and how we play, but if you want to start this off just with the initial flavor text here
Right.
to set the scene.
Put on my old guy glasses. Years fly by like dead leaves. Everything is darkness. Everything is silence. You stand vigilant before the sarcophagus without thought or breath. Such is your compulsion. You do not remember your name, and still you watch. The flesh has fallen off your bones, and still you watch. And then one day there is light and motion, and you weigh your bearded axe and raise your shield, lusting for the fray, eager to measure your skills against these tomb-robbing children so full of blood. You'll never be alive again, but in this moment, in the chaos between violation and destruction, you truly live, and you remember what you once were, and you taste the sun.
Oh, it's so good.
That was dope, yeah.
So, we are in this game playing the Watchman of a Sarcophagi, with heroes and villains and creatures coming in to disturb our restful slumber, and we awaken, engage in battle, must either remove them, placate them, or kill them, and then we return to our standing ground and our positions and wait in silence until another event happens. That is who we're playing. I am playing. You're playing Headless.
Yes.
I am playing the Tattered Cloak. We'll go through our characters here in just a moment. And I'm not going to read through the rules, but I want to give people an overview of what we've done so far.
Okay.
So gather the stuff you need. We have our dice, we have our pens, we have our character sheets, and we have a piece of paper here to build out our map. Choose your skeletons. You have Headless. Go ahead and read through that first initial element of Headless.
Your skull is long gone, but it doesn't matter. You carry an iron mace and a holy symbol. Sketch in the details on the illustration.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
So you need to add. You're supposed to be carrying a holy mace, and your symbol.
Oh, and I drew a head there, which...
So is that going to be your symbol?
That's not a holy symbol at all.
Okay. Well then add in. You drew a head to indicate where we're standing.
Right.
But I'd go ahead and add in.
But I'm headless, so that's a terrible...
Well, I mean, you selected your character. You selected your character after we drew the map. So.
So I could just make any symbol to be a holy symbol. I don't have
a holy
to,
symbol.
It doesn't have to be a traditional holy symbol.
A holy symbol, and you're wielding a mace.
Oh, okay. So I'll draw a mace. It doesn't have to be really well drawn, does it?
No, it doesn't have to be really well drawn. It'll be better than whatever I draw. That's why I included it in this one. I was like, who has enough artistic talent to not only have fun with me, but also make sure I don't look like a fool when drawing creatures. I can barely even get a straight line on the paper.
I mean, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here for the sake of brevity. My holy symbol is going to be an infinity symbol.
Okay.
Or an 8. Whatever people...
I've heard they mean the same thing.
There, all right.
Holy symbol and a mace.
And a mace.
For the
this is my pen.
For the presumably headless skeleton with a head there. And then I am playing the Tattered Cloak. Scraps of once red cloth shroud your bones. You carry a battle-scarred sword. Sketch the details on the illustration. So I also
got a sword.
Should add a little bit of a tattered cloak here. If I could draw it. And I'm also not going to spend too much time on my illustration because, I wouldn't want to make you look bad. And I want to give myself like a nice hilt there.
There you go.
A little bit of sword, a pommel, and then a little bit of a buck tooth.
Yeah, it's broken, right? It's
a little bit of a buck tooth sword there. I need some more of this like eaten up tattered cloak.
There you go.
Sweet. So there we have it. And then we have questions. Answer this as you create the map together. So let's continue going. We have drawn the map. We were told to draw a sarcophagus in the center.
Yeah.
4 walls to indicate the illustration.
Yeah.
Not too much details, though.
No.
You added in some big barriers.
Yeah.
Some pillars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know.
And we also have some specifications here. Who are interned in the 7 niches along the southern wall? Note your answer on the map. So the southern wall would be here. And there's supposed to be 7 niches, and some people are interned in there.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and, on this little barrier here, indicate 7 little plaques.
Oh, okay. So we're saying this is the southern wall, not this back here?
Well, I see this is like the southern wall where people are interred.
Got it.
There's like 2 southern walls.
Okay.
Me. So 4...
People who
5,
made this game are very Morningstar is like, dude, that's not how it works.
Oh no, this is an RPG. This is how it works. So on those seven niches, I want to say those are like Pharisees that are interned in there.
Pharisees,
like people whoever's in the sarcophagi. These 7 niches enclose the spiritual leaders of whatever this is.
What if they were like warrior priests, kind of?
I'm okay with warrior priests.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a cooler...
Okay. So these are going to be the 7 warrior priests that were interned in this tomb with them. What's your question there? And how should we symbolize? Can you draw some like warrior symbol on the rock there?
I could try.
Like a sword or a battle axe or something.
Oh, just like an axe across the top here?
Yeah, just something stylistically to be like, yeah, this is where the warrior priests were buried.
Okay.
It's like an engraving on the stone, they buried them and then chiseled in a memorial for these people.
I'll have it like a pole axe or something, I guess.
Yeah.
It's going to be long here.
I like it. Well, and if you enjoy this type of weird RPG style content, let us know by hitting that subscribe button and saying, Mike
never gets a t-shirt. Ever, ever, ever.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Okay.
Great sigil to remind us of what is...
Keep reminding myself that I can't be spending too much time on that.
Of what is there. What is your question?
My question is, what scene is depicted in the fresco that covers the eastern wall? Note your answer on the map.
Ooh, so there's a fresco over here.
There's a fresco.
What scene would they entomb in this?
I think it should be like something that represents who these people were.
Okay.
So maybe like the 7 warriors, but with this figure behind them, whoever it was. Like maybe guarding him. Or
because they were buried there with him.
Yeah, they were buried there. Like if these are warrior priests, then maybe they're protecting whoever they were. Like cats in the Egyptian, they're like, bury your warriors with you, like the Chinese warriors, and kind of. What do you think?
So I like that idea. So you work on that fresco. On the eastern wall. It doesn't have to
not drawing.
No. It doesn't have to be too specific, but just get a sense of it.
Listen, it's gonna
get a sense of it.
A square with some stick figures in it.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'll continue going through here. So we've drawn the map out. Now we're supposed to talk about working together. We need to be able to cooperate as skeletons, revealing our past, and sometimes things will happen to a single skeleton. The actions of the intruders also require a similar cooperation. Give different players responsibility throughout the game. You can even give them a responsibility of controlling the intruders and having their skeletons stay still for a time. So that's just a mutual agreement to work collectively. And then I'm going to read this, and actually I'll read this in a moment. So playing the game, we're going to go through a series of turns where intruders invade this area. We're not allowed to aid them, but we're allowed to do whatever it takes to convince them to leave or make sure they don't exist anymore, right? Murder them to death. That will happen, and time will continue to pass, and the game will continue to cycle on, and then at a certain point, the game will progress, either with a resolve and an ending, or it says specifically, the game ends when a seasoned group of intruders manages to scatter the skeleton bones, or when you're content to leave your skeletons in a cold, dark place forever. Take a final moment to sit in silence in the dark, and then turn the lights back on, have a snack, and talk about the experience you've just shared. So that's our game. We're playing through this series of people intruding, people invading, and then it either resolves with our destruction or our entombment permanently.
Permanent entombment.
I mean, we're already permanently entombed, to be fair.
That's true. We've just been brought to life by the thrill of the battle.
Yes. Well, our whatever has caused us to be entombed also, I mean, has enchanted us to protect this space, right?
Right.
There we are. We have a fresco. Beautiful fresco, by the way. Take a moment. When you have the skeletons and a map, turn out the lights and take a moment to breathe. Feel the silence. Imagine the weight of countless years. When you are ready to turn on the lights, turn on the lights and say. So I will slide this to you, and let the silence sit for a bit, and when you're ready, you'll read that.
Where?
You'll read that phrase when you're ready.
Okay, I'm gonna close my eyes. Arise and protect the tomb, skeletal guardians.
And the game has begun.
Okay.
The unsealed tomb. Intruders. Choose an intruder. Mark it and follow the instructions. When true intruders have been checked off and dealt with, go to the time of dust. So, we have grave rats, we have an amateur tomb robber, or we have a spirit of place disturbed by the newly built tomb. Don't read anymore. What do you want?
I like amateur tomb robber.
Amateur tomb robber.
Yeah.
Describe this person.
Okay.
Well prepared or in rags?
No. I think he's like he or she. Ooh.
Yeah.
She. I like she. She's smarmy. She's like, maybe her dad was an archaeologist or something, and she's like, I know exactly what I'm doing here.
A little
like,
overconfident?
Yeah, a little overconfident. Okay. She's got the tools. She's got like her pocket knife, her Spyderco pocket knife on the side. She feels like she's prepped and ready. She knows that there's some good stuff in this tomb.
Well prepared because her father was an archaeologist?
Well prepared for typical archaeology,
but not for skeleton guardians.
No, she's ready to find some cool stuff. She's got her water. Yeah. She's got like flint and steel, and in case something happens, she's got rope. She's got a backpack full of goodies, but she doesn't necessarily know that it's about to go down. Okay. Who among you slays the tomb robber, and how? Well, now I just described her, and I feel bad, so you kill her. And everyone must answer one question. The killer or killers may answer two. Choose once either the glory fades or the gods laugh table. Choose once on either the glory fades or the gods laugh table. So everyone must answer one question. The killer or killers must answer two. So you've just described her. You have this overconfident, sort of zealous. Are you writing something in? No, I was just checking off my first thing that I did, like you did. And we also have questions because when she comes in, we instigate, right? I mean, like dust creaks off our bones. Yeah, I'd like to imagine that like this is kind of young in the tomb's case, so like we haven't weathered too much. Like we're still like fairly slimy bones. Oh. We're bones, but so like... this is not a dry tomb.
It's not very dry. No, I think we still have
moist.
like a little bit of flesh that is eking off and stuff.
Oh,
Like
okay. So we haven't been here for a long
we haven't
time.
been there that long, right? And so she.
I mean, I've been here long enough that my head's fallen off.
That's fair. That's fair. But maybe you were buried headless. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Fair.
That's up to you.
And I got a holy symbol and a mace.
And so if you don't want to deal with her,
No, I mean I should. Like now that I've created this character, I'm rooting for her. So
yeah. So
I shouldn't.
I'm gonna imagine, because I'm right next to this fresco here.
Right.
I imagine she enters the place and is already like torchlight lit up, or actually a lantern probably.
Yeah.
Lantern lit up, little beam of light shining up onto the wall, and she just passes it over the fresco and then turns back and pauses, and she's just sitting there staring at it. And I want to move like...
She's like, whoever drew this fresco, wow.
Yeah. And so like, I just want to, with the broken hilt of my sword, moving as like quietly as possible, I just come up behind her and I just want to reach around and just drag it across her throat.
Oh. Just as she says, like, gosh, it almost looks like ballpoint pen. And you just like slice her poor throat.
And I also, but here's the thing. I have questions as time passes. This is as time passes specifically.
Uh-oh.
So not during this. And then choose once either on the glory fades or the God's laugh table. Let me find those table here. Glory fades.
This is good bourbon.
Choose and mark for anything affecting a single skeleton. Choose which, however you like. So one of these is going to affect one of us. So I'm just going to start. Okay, and let's roll, because there's 1 through 6. So
okay.
Go ahead and roll.
All of them?
Just one of them.
Just one of them. I got a 5.
5. A skeleton loses some bones permanently. What body part is missing, and note it on the character sheet.
She just whooped your ass.
So you think I lost some bones?
Well, you're the one that's next to her. You're dragging the sword across her neck, right?
Okay. So here's what I'm thinking.
This is your story, buddy.
I'm dragging the sword across her neck, and I think she shoves, like, because you don't kill them immediately, right? She's gasping for breath. She's going to be stumbling around.
Who knows how deep? You don't know. Do we know how deep you cut?
Oh, I went deep.
Oh, you went deep?
I went deep, yeah.
So she's down.
Yeah, she's going down. But, like, in the process, I imagine she's going to shove forward to try to get the sword off her neck.
Yeah.
And it doesn't actually remove the sword. It pops my shoulder out. And so I lose like, my right hand.
The one that's holding your sword?
Well, I can use my left hand, too.
Okay.
Yeah. But I just, like, I imagine she pops the shoulder joint out, and the right hand sort of crumbles and falls.
So you're just like a Princess Bride kind of swordsman. You're like, haha, I'm left-handed.
Yes. And so I'm just going to go ahead and draw a bit of a right hand on my character sheet here. Thumbs and fingers and all of that. So that's now fallen off.
Okay.
Are you judging my drawing?
I'm just saying it looks inappropriate to me, but...
Oh, come on. It does not. Whatever.
All right, so you lost your right arm.
And then we're also supposed to choose. So it says choose from Glory Fades or God's Laugh. So we did Glory Fades. Okay, and we have one more of these that we need to deal with. So we have Grave Rats or a spirit of the place disturbed by a newly built tomb.
A spirit of the place disturbed by a newly built tomb.
After each intruder is driven away or killed, choose, mark, and sit in darkness as indicated. Think about the endless silence and unfathomable darkness. So we just finished the tomb robber.
Okay.
We'll go over here to time passes. Do you want no time at all, a day, a week, a month, a year, or a decade?
Oh, before the next thing comes.
Before the next thing comes.
Well, I feel like... So here's my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the idea of a spirit. Although it doesn't really fit into the story I have in my head. But if it was a spirit, it wouldn't... It would maybe even react to...
So you're thinking...
The chaos.
You're thinking no time at all.
Yeah, like it would just...
Okay.
This cacophony would sort of...
I like that.
Awaken the spirit, and the spirit's like, hey, what's going on? I was trying to sleep.
So no time at all, immediately begin a new encounter. A spirit of the place, disturbed by a newly built tomb. How did you drive away such an ancient and impartial presence? Or immaterial presence? Everyone can answer the question if they wish, and then choose one, either Glory Fades or God's Laugh. So I slit their throat. My arm gets knocked off, kind of crumbles to the ground. She's laying there gasping and dying. And then you, who haven't moved yet.
This spirit sort of like comes up out of the ground, like right here in the middle.
Okay.
And is just like.
What spirit is it? Who is this? Who is this thing?
I think, here's what I think. I think it was a spirit maybe that's underneath the tomb. Something that we built the tomb on top of.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what these guys are here
to protect from.
And like that thing.
What would warrior priests want to have to protect from historically?
Bad juju. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like a Baba Yaga kind of figure. You know, maybe it was something
more of a
like
guardian of nature,
a La Llorona or something that was like taking children in the nearby town, and these guys, and that's why there's a religious figure here to protect against this sort of like demon, almost this witch or something, and like.
So how do you drive away such an immaterial presence?
Well, we kind of are immaterial. We have material, but that can't be all that's driving us, right? And I'm like this. I got this religious symbol here. So, I don't know. Like maybe I step forward. I was going to say I step forward and cast a spell, but I can't speak. Because I don't have a head.
You don't have to speak to cast a spell, though.
Maybe I just like...
Your sigil could have some
hold up the sigil and it like invokes some magic that puts the spirit back to sleep. Right? Because you can't necessarily... Well, maybe we could destroy it, but I think that would be kind of lame.
You think you're sending it back down, though?
Putting it back to sleep. I'm like forcing it back into its tomb below the tomb and... Yeah. Kind of a thing. What do you think?
No, I like that. I mean, I'm not the one dealing with it. I just got my arm.
I thought we both come up with this story.
We both can if we want. If we both, no, we do.
Okay.
But I feel like this is you acting. I mean, the spirit just rose up, and I'm the one that sort of was dealing.
You're
with the
over there going, "Oh, my arm." Yeah. And so I think like my guy steps forward and lifts this sigil that glows and like.
So it's sort of like we're both prepared. I mean, it's almost like we were entombed here both for a reason. Like I'm more of like a physical presence that's like willing to attack and defend, and you're sitting here like as a spiritual guardian in a way.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I mean, I got this mace though, so I've got some physical presence. The interesting thing I think is like that I don't have a head, and I'm kind of curious, like why don't I have a head? What have I dealt with in the past that made me lose my head? Was it just time, and eventually my head fell off, or have I done this before and we just don't remember it? And like we've done this, 100 times for a millennia.
I'm also thinking about these warrior priests that are here too, and part of me is wondering if their sacrifice is what has given us the ability to maintain presence. Because we now have like me acting as a little bit of a physical warrior, you acting as a little bit of like a spiritual guardian of the space, and maybe it was all 7 of them that imbued us to some degree.
Oh, okay. Like the spirits of these... Yeah. They sacrifice themselves to give sort of like a weird life to these guardians of the tomb.
Yeah. Now, as time passes this time, we have a series of questions here. So go ahead and choose one and go ahead and answer it. I'm going to go ahead and mark off whom did I once love? And for me, I don't think my bones, I mean, as I'm awake and defending, I get flashbacks and memories of like wheat fields and a farm and a smiling face and children and like I had a family, right? And so I don't have any specifics on who it was specifically, but I loved this house. I loved the people. I loved my family. And that's for some reason, being recalled. So I'm just writing down family next to who did I once love. What do you think? And you don't have to answer any. It's just the only time we're aware of any of this, our past self, is when we're awake.
So I think it would be cool. It says, what connection do you have to those you've just killed or driven away?
Okay.
What memory did they evoke? And I think it'd be cool if like two of these questions connected somehow. So I am going to say that I have a connection to this creature, the spirit that just came up.
Mm.
And like
That's cool.
when it came back up, I remembered fighting it before,
Okay.
and I remembered like all of the times that I've ever fought this thing.
Did you fight it when you were alive? Like as a not as a skeleton?
Yes, I think so.
So this is like a spiritual struggle.
Yeah, this is like an ongoing thing.
That's
like
cool.
I've been here forever trying to keep this thing at bay, and like sometimes it wins and sometimes I win. And like I've developed a set of tools and strategies to keep, and I've realized I can't kill it. I can only make it go back to sleep, and so that's kind of my role in this tomb, is to keep this thing at bay.
I'm gonna draw a little lantern here, just to represent the murder that I did. And I don't know if you want to add something to the map to indicate your spiritual struggle. I don't know if there would be any sort of indication from where it came from on the earth, but
I mean, here's what we'll do. We'll say that there's another sarcophagus or a coffin below this.
So it's buried there. There's something there as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then we'll like indicate that there's maybe dirt and rubble. It's underneath here somehow.
Nice. So, choose a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade.
No, I chose the last time. You get to choose this time. Wait, aren't we supposed to roll again or anything? Like that?
Not yet. Oh yeah, we do. Glory fades or God's laugh.
Let's do God's laugh.
Okay, and this will be affecting you. Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Okay. I got a 4.
4. An item of jewelry renders a skeleton immune to heat and flames. Which one?
An item of jewelry renders the skeleton immune to heat and flames?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say it's this sigil thing that I'm holding here.
So that with this like a new power is awakened in it, or like.
Oh, I see. This has to be something different.
No, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Just that sigil itself, it renders you immune to heat and flames.
Yeah, it's just always been that way.
Sweet.
I think. So it's, hold on, I'm gonna.
So is the sigil sort of a piece of jewelry in itself? It's like a medallion,
it's like hanging off what's left of my neck.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's like a stub, and you have this medallion just drooping.
Yeah.
Dig that.
Maybe, and that's why. Well, yeah. Should I go in? I think like that's why my head is gone. Like this thing was trying to get it off of me because it's one of the things that helps me fight this thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. A day, a week, a month, a year, a decade.
Nope, you get to pick this time.
Let's do a month. Turn off the lights and sit in silence for 20 seconds.
No.
Then say.
You say it.
Arise and protect the tombs, skeletal guardians.
You count slower than I do.
Well. The time of dust. Intruders. Choose an intruder. Mark it and follow the instructions. When 2 intruders have been checked off and dealt with, go to the desecration. A family seeking shelter. A pair of professional tomb robbers. Or a giant tomb spider.
We gotta kill him.
We don't have to. We could drive him off.
Oh.
You could drive him off. I just murdered her.
Oh, you're ruthless. All right. Let's go with the family.
Family seeking shelter. Are they refugees? Are they monsters? What do we think? Who is this family that's seeking shelter in the tomb? I imagine it's like a blustery, windy. I mean, a thunderstorm, lightning storm, hurricane.
Oh,
What are you thinking?
I was thinking that like this world outside of our tomb is even more fraught with like supernatural perils than we know of. Like it's just really terrible.
So maybe the lightning storm that I'm imagining is part of that.
Maybe it's part like
it's more vengeful than just nature.
And in like seeking shelter, they stumble into this tomb that's maybe been forgotten, but then they slowly start to realize where they are.
And so they're like lighting a match at the corner.
This is the absolute worst place we could have gone.
Okay.
Like this is where that thing dwells, and these, all of these warrior priests were laid to rest in order to protect everyone from this thing, and we've just stumbled into their tomb. But now they have to weigh the cost of like, do we take shelter in here, or do we go back out there and face certain doom, or do we play our cards here and hope that we can, at least buy some
so
time?
how do we react?
Yeah, well, but I mean, like, our job is to protect his tomb, right?
Yeah.
And to get them out of there. So, like, despite what they might be trying to do or thinking, they're thinking, like, maybe it's worth the risk. We know that, like, no, you need to get out of here.
So, like, I'm gonna react. I mean, I'm pretty brazen. I go with a sword initially, and so I'm imagining that they came through
Jesse
this
goes
tunnel
straight
here.
for the kids.
Well, I'm imagining they came through the tunnel here, and they're like up here near this pillar.
Oh, okay.
And so they're closer to you. They're farther away from me, and I just want to like rake my sword across the stone wall while I start walking towards them.
Ooh, I like that.
So like, and mostly because I'm sharpening it, because
Yeah.
it's been around for a little while. I'm just getting the rust off, but it might be enough to like frighten some of them back.
Yeah, I start walking towards them and dragging the mace along the ground.
Okay.
And like scraping it back and forth so maybe it makes little sparks.
And
then I'll start tapping my fingers on my rib cage to make a...
Okay. Is that enough for this family seeking shelter to leave? What's this world like that you're talking about outside?
I mean, I'm thinking like there's creatures out there that are most definitely going to just kill them all. And maybe they're sitting there hearing things and they're thinking they can hide.
So they can't see us yet?
No, but they can hear us coming and maybe they think they can hide.
Interesting.
I mean, that's kind of what they're doing in the first place.
There's not any light
here
here.
to hide.
I mean, do they have like matches, or do they have tinder, or is there any light, or are they just hiding in this darkness?
Why do we taste the sun?
What do you mean they taste the sun?
In the very beginning, it says we taste the sun.
So maybe there's some streams of light.
They opened up the tomb and light has come in.
So there's a little bit of light pouring in the corners.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Like dust is settling and mixing, and I mean, fine. If they're not leaving though, then I'm gonna cut across and start making my way directly for them. I mean, I'm just my tattered robes, sort of not really moving much in the wind or with the movement. I'm walking as if like only my heels and legs are moving.
Yeah.
So my body is just like rigid with the sword dragging across the ground or the wall or whatever's in its way.
I have too much empathy to play this game. I mean, I feel so bad.
You're telling them that they're staying. You think they're gonna stay till they?
I mean, yeah, well, because I'm thinking like outside is terrible. Outside has got to be horrible for
them to seek shelter in a tomb.
To take shelter in a tomb.
Okay.
I mean, like, maybe your idea was better. It's just a lightning storm. Yeah, this is my wild imagination. Yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, like, if I was them and it was really as bad outside as I'm imagining it is in my head, I would risk trying to hide from whatever is in there.
Okay, so what are you doing? I mean, you're walking towards them. I'm scraping my sword across the ground. You're tip-tapping a nice musical instrument.
I'm walking towards the door.
You're blocking
Wherever-
their exit?
I'm walking towards to see where they are. Yeah.
You're blocking their exit.
Well, I mean, like that. It makes sense to me that if I couldn't see them,
I just love that I'm dragging my sword and you're like, oh dear God, I'm blocking their one escape. And you maniacally laugh. I'm going to put that in game.
To me that if I couldn't see them,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what was really coming
You know where
in
the
here,
door is, though.
I know where the door is,
Yeah.
so I'm going there to see like either are they still in here.
Who is this family? I mean, we probably got like. I mean, what's the family makeup? Are we thinking some children? Are we thinking like husband, wife? Are we thinking two guys?
Yeah, I was thinking like a nuclear family.
Just like a standard family.
So
I'm not opposed to murdering a standard family.
You're terrible.
You're blocking the exit. So if we're thinking a nuclear family, if we're thinking husband, wife, two kids, probably ages, let's say 12 and 7.
Okay.
I am currently approaching them, and I imagine, if we're thinking a nuclear family, I imagine the father does his best to take a stand. And so, like, I think he's wielding like a small little hammer or something, like nothing.
He, like, pushes his kids behind him.
Yeah, he's kind of moved the family and wife behind him. He sees me, like, you can finally see my silhouette, the tattered robes and everything.
Maybe he sees me coming for the door.
He swings. I'm imagining he's swinging this like kind of disheveled hammer in my direction to try to like take my head out or something. And I just want to raise my sword, and it's not even my movement; it's the swing of his arm that severs his wrist.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I haven't killed him though.
All right. I'm saying the wife sees this and the kids also see it and they start throwing random things at me. Like maybe they had rocks or things and they start throwing things at me and trying to give the dad a chance to like back up so that they can get out of this tomb.
I think one of the kids runs.
Just straight
up.
up.
I think the youngest kid, I think the 7-year-old, like gets out of the mother's grip.
And just ditches everybody?
Is dashing, I think
towards the door or the wrong way?
Wrong way. I think the 7-year-old runs into the tomb.
See, you're going like the modern version of War of the Worlds, an obnoxious kid that can't get anything right.
Maybe.
Sort of
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, so this little kid runs into the tomb. And now they can't leave because they got to save their kid.
Mm-hmm.
Which way does he run? They came in over here.
Mm-hmm.
They were hiding behind this pillar.
Yeah, I think so.
The dads took a stand here. I'm coming this way.
So I mean, let me
They're
draw.
throwing stuff at me.
Let me draw a little hammer here to indicate where I.
That's where Dad lost his hand.
Severed
this is
his
where
hand.
you are. I'm coming around this way to try and block the door.
I think the kid runs right here. I think it runs straight into the sarcophagus.
To the sarcophagus?
Yeah.
And Mom and the other kid.
They're still behind this corner here.
But I'm coming over here.
You are, yeah. You're coming up behind them.
So, I guess, like, at this point we have to decide what are we and are we here to protect this place by any means necessary?
We could answer another question. We're awake right now, which means we have some memories coming back. So, let me do one here. Who among the skeletons richly deserves the fate and why? So
like me.
I think you. I do think you. I think your eternal war with this spiritual being has doomed both of us to this perpetual existence.
I like it, yeah.
And I think that's not. I think it's not good or bad, but it is, and it's not suffering necessarily. Like our existence, I don't think is suffering. I think it's a denial of what's next, though, in terms of whatever faith we have and like where the priests went and things. Like
we're
here and we're spiritually bound to this place.
Yeah, and it was my fault.
Yeah, I think the struggle. I think throughout your life that, and maybe I knew you before we were here. And I had
they were like, one of you is going to have to guard or two of you are going to have to guard this tomb, and you're obviously one of them. And I was like, and Jesse too, and you were like,
yeah. So I think I do think Headless deserves the punishment.
Okay.
And we've established why. I mean, do you have anything you want to answer that might give us better insight into what we're going to do here? Like, are we willing to murder this family just to protect the space? We are. I mean, we're bound to protect it.
Whom did you once love? What was your name? What thing in this place did you lovingly craft with your own hands? Lovingly.
Interesting. Oh, interesting. And you could add something. It doesn't have to be something that's already here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it says, choose from among those already introduced if you are able.
If you're able. Okay.
I'm going to say that one, but I don't think it's going to help forward. But I am going to say that, like, based on what we just described, I'm going to say I made your sword.
Oh.
Because I didn't want you, like, if I was going to draw you into this nightmare with me, I at least wanted you to have something completely awesome.
And so you crafted the sword that I'm
like
wearing.
I'd spent years and years making a weapon for you that would hopefully help you.
I used that sword to slit the throat of the dad.
You're so terrible.
Well, if you imbued us, you locked us in this tomb.
But
you
not
gave
to
me
kill
a
the
weapon.
dad.
You gave me a weapon to utilize. I've just raised the sword, and the movement of his own arm severed his hand, and with one single stroke. And I imagine he has a long beard, so it's one of those things where like the beard gets cut off first.
Oh God!
I've just got a thing for throat cutting. What can I say?
I'm over here, I'm like dedicating my life to protecting people from this thing, and I'm bringing my buddy in, but I feel so bad that I want to make him a sword. Yeah. You're like, dude, I just like stabbing people.
I'm protecting the tomb. This is what
I'm just killing everyone.
This is what I was imbued to do. I have now murdered the father. What happens?
I think the kid screams.
Okay, because it can see from that vantage point, it has full view.
Obviously, he's right there.
Yeah.
So the kid screams and runs. I think the kid screams and runs for his dad. I think the mom runs at you.
Okay.
And I think this other kid freezes up.
What are you doing at this point?
I mean, I feel like I'm the guy who's realized that this shit has just gotten completely out of hand.
Okay.
And I need to...
You're recognizing that there's something here more than...
I think I'm holding on to my humanity
I'm
here.
stabbing anything that moves.
Yeah.
But maybe you've got a little bit more of like, I've lost some sense of my humanity.
Yeah.
And your spiritual battle maybe has tied yours, like tethered yours to the ground a little bit more.
Maybe.
So do you try to save the children? Like, do you try to just get them to leave instead of...
Yeah, I feel like maybe I change course now that I realize what's going on. And I change course and try to position myself between you and them and scare them. Like, Dad's already dead. There's nothing I can do.
So she's running at me. Because I just killed the dad. You have her running at me. What if you step between us?
I think I'm going to hit her in the temple with the backside of my mace.
Okay.
I'm going to knock her out.
Okay.
And then I'm going to grab her and start dragging her to the door and hope that the kids follow me before you cut their throats.
Okay. So that's the resolve.
I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to drag this mother's unconscious body towards the door.
And you just get them outside the door. You do your best to squeeze it shut a little bit. And then we resolve and return to, and they won't come back in at this point.
And like, if you're chasing after the kids, I'm trying to position myself between you and the children.
I'm not chasing anyone. I mean, I'm very slow and strategic with my movement.
You're just like happy to
I just
kill
move.
one person.
I just move forward and murder. And so like I'm not chasing anyone. Like if the kids are still there, I'm going to be going towards them.
You're very mechanical.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just saying I would position myself between you and them and try to get them.
They never get in my presence enough again to be stabbed.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that resolution. Are you?
Okay. Yeah.
So let's see here. Glory fades or God's laugh table. And I feel like this one's going to affect you because you're doing You're doing you're resolving it, right? You're
Yeah.
finishing it off.
All right.
So glory fades or God's laugh. You choose which one.
Let's do glory fades.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
4.
The place where the skeleton stands watch, sinks into a lava pool, and is impassable.
Oh. So where I was standing originally?
Yeah.
So this place right here?
Yeah. So the earth is... So something there is... What causes that, though?
I don't know.
I mean, have we failed in terms of protecting the tomb in some way? Or maybe the place you were standing watch, maybe because you left, because you didn't have to leave your location last time. You kind of dealt with all of the intruders from where you stood.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe you leaving the location to deal with this new intruder has...
So I have a story.
Yeah.
I've got a backstory.
What is it?
So it's the serenity and the organization of this place has something to do with the spell that's keeping this thing at bay.
Okay.
And every time that's disrupted, this thing
retching
is
forward.
given a little bit of leeway and a little bit of power. And this time, instead of coming up to deal with us directly, it's like, well, what if I just destroy their ability?
Because last time it tried to rise.
To reposition themselves and reset this spell. What if I destroy the ability to even do that?
So now it's ripping the ground out.
So it's ripping the ground out from underneath. Now that I've moved over here and you've moved over here, it's given just enough to go. And
so if your position now is impassable, where will you stand watch now?
I mean, I'll try to get as close as I possibly can.
So you're going to stand right next to the pit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right next to the pit.
Okay. Time passes.
Okay.
A month, a year, a decade, a century, centuries, or a millennium.
Well, I mean, according to my theory, it shouldn't be very long. Because according to my theory, if we're supposed to be positioned in this particular order
this is time before the next intruder.
Yeah.
That happened with these intruders.
I see.
So now we've resolved it. The lava pit has been created, the family has been...
So we're holding this thing at bay, and now somebody else is going to come in and fuck
We're
with
returning
us.
to our watch. For how long is this tomb left undisturbed? A month, a year, a decade, a century.
I would say let's do like a century. Let's just say like for a century we struggle. After
each intruder is driven away or killed, choose, mark, and sit in darkness as indicated. Think about the awful grinding passage of time. A century. Choose once on the Worlds Crumble or Time Devours table and adjust the map as needed.
Okay.
Worlds Crumble. Which one? Worlds Crumble or Time Devours? I kind of like Worlds Crumble because it's like our world, like this is
falling apart
a little bit.
Okay.
But I also like Time Devours, but...
No, let's do
Worlds Crumble. Go ahead and roll the dice there.
Okay. Why do we have 3 dice if we
I just liked 3.
Oh, okay. 3.
During a trembler, the sarcophagus shifts and slide off its plinth intact. Where does it move? Adjust the map.
Oh, I can't redraw that. That's why they said don't get too detailed, huh?
Well, just indicate where it slides.
So it slides off of its plinth.
Yep.
And, well, we can't have it fall into the lava, so it's either got to go...
That's probably a good idea. Game over.
Let's have it fall right over here.
Okay. So it's a little bit closer to me.
Yeah, it's next to you.
Sort of catty-cornered to the side. Okay. A century. When ready, turn off the lights and sit in silence for 2 minutes. Then say... So.
Do we have to sit here for 2 minutes?
Yep.
No. Can we just pretend we did?
Nope.
Stop it. I'm not going to count to 120. Do you really want me to? Okay. Good Lord. rise and protect the tomb, skeletal guardians.
A pair of professional tomb robbers or a giant tomb spider?
Professional tomb robbers. Let's kill somebody I don't feel bad killing.
Describe them, illustrating how they work as a team. What object immediately attracts their attention? Can they fight? Everyone answers one question. The killer or killers may answer two. Choose once on either the glory fades or the gods laugh table.
Okay, so since we're both killers, we can answer two each, right?
Yep.
So I am saying, yes, they can fight.
Okay.
And I'm saying they work by one of them distracting us while the other tries to acquire the item.
So they know we're here.
They're that
prepared.
Something is here. They're prepared
Something's
for
guardian.
some kind of a fight. If these guys are professionals, they've probably wandered into possessed tombs in this world that we're saying outside is full of demons and spirits and wraiths and lightning storms and terribleness, and they've done this before, and they're looking for something that maybe will help them in some way, and they have a sneaking suspicion there's something in this tomb that will help them.
I think there was something under the sarcophagus.
Oh.
I think it moving. I think maybe the sarcophagus isn't what we're actually protecting here.
Okay.
I think there's something. I think there's, and I'm just gonna, let's just draw, like underneath this was sort of like a sigil of some sorts.
Well, we've already decided that there's at least one magical item in this room, and that's my sigil.
But maybe there's like a gem or a diamond or something under
something
here
else even more powerful.
That's even more powerful. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if I've got a magical sigil, and there's, like.
It looks like a cat. I drew a cat. There's a cat head underneath the.
It's a crystal cat.
There's a crystal cat head underneath the.
Some lonely lady was like, "I'm gonna make something special."
Yeah,
and Mr. Mittens.
And so there's a crystal cat head underneath the sarcophagus.
Crystal Mr. Mittens head.
That is now exposed. So they're going for that. So you think one person's trying to distract us?
I think one person knows that there's going to be something there to defend the cave, and the other guy is going to distract. So one guy's probably got a shield and a long sword, and he knows how to fight.
If someone's distracting us, I'm falling for that hook, line, and seeker.
Right, and so that's kind of your...
It is. And so I imagine I awaken dust, creaking bones. I have got one arm still moving. The other's laying on the ground, twitching a little bit. And I just go at him. Right. And I'm not doing slow movements now. I'm moving faster than maybe they expect me to.
Right.
And I'm just like shield bang, sword bang, helmet bang. I'm not getting any damage necessarily, but I'm pummeling this guy.
Dude. While the other guy is maybe hiding behind the pillar. Is my natural inclination to go towards the door or to go after the dude over here?
You sort of went towards the door
every time, but that was because we couldn't see the family.
But I don't know that changes. You seem to pursue securing the space as opposed to, and I could be wrong. You can tell me, but
yeah, no, I like that. I feel like that. Like my inclination is to secure this area, whereas your inclination is to just fight.
Attack. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think my guy starts to go towards the door.
Okay.
And in that, this guy maybe slips around to the side. Because they are professionals, they are smart. Wait, you didn't answer any questions about.
I did. I talked about what they might be attracting their attention.
Oh, okay. But you got to answer two.
I don't. I think one of them can fight.
Right.
I think one of them sort of like a cell hand, a cell sword. But the other one, I think the one that's being more sneaky is the one that actually hired and paid. I think he's weaker. I think he's there for the gem and the only person that can handle the artifact. But he's not an adventurer.
I see. He just knows that there's a valuable thing in there. Does he know what it is?
I think he has a sense of it. I think he knows what he's after.
He kind of knows that there's a thing, and this is the most likely space that we could find it.
Yeah.
So he hired this dude to come in because he
knows there's danger.
He knows there's something dangerous in there. So this guy comes in like, yeah, I can take anything. All of a sudden, he's getting lynched by a skeletal.
Let me see if there's any questions here that I can answer. What by name did you earn in life that describes your greatest accomplishment? What surname? What by name? What additional trait? Could be a nickname, could be a degree, could be anything really. And I almost like this because I like the idea of last names as being the tradesman, being the craftsman that you have. And so I kind of...
That's like my family name. We gave math to other people. Matthew.
Yes. I believe that's right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna attach my surname or my last name as Stoneborn.
Stoneborn. Ooh.
And the reason why our family earned that, the reason why we're known for that, is because the area where we've learned to grow and harvest and make life come from the earth is actually a very barren, like rocky landscape. And so like if you visited it before we were there, it was just gray granite stone and like swaths of open land with trees and roots, but very little life-giving substance.
Okay.
And so like our family, our tribe has earned and maintained the
like mountain Viking kind
yes. Yeah. And so that's what I've attached myself. But that also means that we are and have always been like very, very powerful and determined.
Okay.
We don't rest as a people. We don't.
If you want to live up in the mountains, you definitely have to be determined.
We're relentless as a people.
Okay.
And so I think I'm not only very comfortable in this space when I awaken. I don't think I'm intimidated or scared, and I don't think there's a thing that stops my fury.
Okay.
Right,
just
and
go
so
in and you're just like, it's not even fury. It's just like, this is what we do.
It's just determination.
It's just how you roll.
And so I think initially the sellsword is very secure, like secure footing, parrying and dodging and like blocking, but nothing tires me.
Well, yeah, you have
more
stamina.
But I'm just saying, like it's just, and that's what they're not prepared for.
So you've got him tied up 100%.
I not only have him tied up, I am chopping away at the wood shield. I'm chipping away at the sword.
Gotcha.
It's gonna take me time, but probably within a few minutes. If
they don't get out of here soon,
within a few minutes of fighting, the sellsword probably shouts out something like, "Get it and run," because there's no way I'm stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my thought.
So here's what I think. Should I answer a question? Do I have to answer a question?
You don't have to. You don't have to. You're welcome to if you'd like. I thought it would be helpful for me to answer a question.
I see. I think I only have one other question that I think I'd like to answer about my guy. I think he doesn't really have to have much of a life beyond trying to protect the world against this thing. That's kind of like what he's dedicated every waking moment to.
You do have other things too that you might remember or you might observe in the space that you're in, and so you're also welcome to see new things.
Names of people that things that Headless may recall from the sunny days before.
And then you also have things that you might see in the tomb.
Things you might see: a dome, pillars. We got pillars, vaults, pedestals, arches. Porticos, a cupola, crypts, a mausoleum, statuary, intricate stone decorations, carvings, screens, and furniture in wood, stone, or metal. Sealed cases of household goods, mirrors, magical wards, sigils, and objects.
We already have a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been adding that to our...
Yeah,
ourselves.
I guess we have. I think I'm standing here looking at the door. And this guy grabs
He listens to it, grabs the cat head.
Runs back.
And he's met with you.
And walks straight into me.
What do?
I just take my mace and lay him out.
You just jaw squished up into the face.
No, straight down.
Down?
It's a puddle and it just falls apart off of his neck. And
I think that distracts the sellsword.
Oh, he's screwed.
No, but I think he yells out. Your guy runs forward like an idiot, grabs it and runs towards the door. you go and just squish him.
Yeah.
And then this sellsword like looks up, sees that happen because it's right in the door light, and I just in that it's a quarter of a second.
Yeah.
And in that time, my sword goes straight through his neck.
Okay.
I'm still just slitting throats.
You're just stabby.
And so,
Got it.
and so,
Right.
does the cat head stay here, or does it return? Do we have any agency to return something?
Ooh, see, I feel like my guy probably would.
No, I think that's right.
I think my guy would probably pick it up and then just lumber back.
So you gently
drop
restore
it there, and then get here and kind of like stumble his way back into whatever position he feels he needs to be in to maintain the spell on this place.
I'm just drawing a shield for the sellsword that I killed here.
Let me draw a squished head.
Perfect.
Bleh.
Okay.
That's this guy's head, and he's very sad.
Glory fades or God's laugh.
I picked last time. You picked this time.
Let's do God's laugh, and go ahead and give me a dice roll there.
4.
We already did that one, so do that one more time.
6.
The magic animating of one of the skeletons. The magic animating one of the skeletons, but not its compulsion to service, is beginning to fade. I think.
So you still want to. One of us still wants to help, but we.
I think it's got to be me. I think time is wearing on. Like, I don't have as much of a bind to this place as you do. And so I feel like this fight. I feel like as you're returning the cat head,
Yeah.
you sort of notice me, and I'm not. It's not that I'm not moving,
Just
but
not
I
as
am.
quickly
I am just
and-
taking so much longer. The energy that was expelled in this fight.
Yeah.
I'm taking so much longer to return to my place, and the way that I return is more drooped and more ashen than it had been.
Yeah. You're just sort of like.
In fact, I don't even know that I make it the whole way back to my resting pace. I may be a pace or two away from it.
I think you're just like dragging a foot almost, and.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you're not
Time passes.
you're not like the super awesome skeleton that you were
A month.
as you murdered children and young girls looking for
That's
cool
true.
archaeology finds.
A year, a decade, a century, centuries, or a millennium.
I picked last time.
Let's do. I want to do a millennium.
You just want to count for a really long time.
Let's do
it. Let's do a millennium.
Okay. Choose one.
Wait,
Worlds
a millennium.
crumble.
So we have to think though. If a millennium is going to pass, then the world outside completely changes.
Worlds crumble or time devours. Let's do time devours this time.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll the die.
3.
Let me find it here. Where art thou? Time devours. A crack develops, creating an opening for robbers and other vermin. Where?
I think on the south wall.
Okay.
Like behind our...
Behind that plinth.
Yeah, back here. What do you think, yeah?
I agree.
I already started drawing it, I'm sorry.
Oh. Okay. A millennium. When ready, turn off the lights and sit in silence for 4 minutes.
Is there bourbon in silence?
Yes.
Thank you, silence. There's ASMR in silence.
Arise and protect the tomb, skeletal guardians.
I want coffee first.
Intruders, the desecration. Choose an intruder, mark it and follow the instructions. When you feel that you've spent 10 or more minutes in the dark across the entire game, when you feel that you've spent 10 or more minutes in the dark across the entire game, the next intruder will defeat you. Regardless, if you check off the third group of intruders here, they will surely defeat you.
Yikes.
So we've spent probably 7 minutes in the dark.
Yeah.
An army of plunderers, some of your descendants, or a necromancer and some other mercenaries.
Some of your descendants after over a millennia?
After a millennia.
That seems unlikely.
Okay.
A necromancer and some mercenaries. That's interesting. An army of plunderers is also interesting. I say we start with an army of plunderers.
Dozens of bandits with shovels, picks, and axes. Describe them, illustrating how they barely work together, obsessed with greed.
Oh.
What catches their chief's eye? Did they bring magic or science to aid them? Will they overwhelm you, laughing with delight? Everyone answers none, one, or two questions as they prefer. Choose one each on the glory fades or God laugh table. So I think they're coming in from both sides.
They barely work together. Right. Okay.
And dozens would be, probably 24 to 36 individuals.
Okay.
And I'm more exhausted and slower than I've ever been.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized something, though. Lava opened up beneath you.
Mm-hmm.
Your pendant protects you from fire.
Oh, God, you're right.
I think you're standing that lava.
You're right.
I think you've been there the whole time.
Yeah, why would I not stand in
I think
that
you've
lava?
returned to it, yeah.
That's a good point, yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
I'm just happy standing in the lava. I would have to hold my mace up so it wouldn't melt, but
Yeah, still pretty cool.
Okay.
So I think there's so many coming through. And I don't
Are they coming through both sides?
I think they're coming through both sides,
Okay.
and I don't think I realize that they're coming through this side at the moment.
Right, we see them come like 12 to 18 of them are coming through.
Yeah.
Over here.
It asks an interesting question. What catches the chief's eye? I don't think it's the cat.
You don't think so?
I think the chief's digging here.
That's why I said I was gonna do these guys second.
Uh-huh.
I think that's what the necromancer's goal would
So maybe
be.
the chief is just here for riches?
Yeah,
For
I
gold,
think,
jewelry,
well, because it's like a
treasure.
disorganized
I
group,
hear
but
you.
I think he knows about the cat's head.
Maybe there's little jewelry entombed in this area too, where we buried.
Oh, for sure, but that's like what these other ragamuffins are coming in
So the
for.
chief's going for the cat's head.
And the chief is like, is hoping to get to the cat's head before anybody sees him, because it's like this diamond cat's head, or this gemstone cat's head, and he's going to grab that, and he's like, yeah, check the sarcophaguses, and don't forget the painting,
So
the ballpoint pen illustration,
because they're disorganized.
right?
I think I'm able to murder many quickly.
Yeah,
I
I
am
think you don't
slow-moving.
have to move fast. You just start lumbering towards
And
them.
I think every strike I make is cutting through flesh in some form. Like
Yeah, because you got
arm
that
is
sword I
severed.
made you, even though it's
Yeah.
tattered. It's just
But, like,
it's an amazing sword.
Arm is severed, throat is cut, heads
Yeah.
are rolling, but there's still a flood of them. I think there's 24 coming from that side, maybe 12 coming through the back.
Yeah.
And so I'm killing half a dozen, and it doesn't feel like it's ending.
Right, and then I feel like I'm coming up
You go to the door.
towards
Yeah.
the door, burning, glowing skeleton, like fire coming off me, which is definitely going to scare some of them. That's not like
You think
they're
some
gonna,
of them run?
Dude, they're not going to see a glowing skeleton
Sure.
with a
And not
mace
run?
and this, thing and just be like, whatever, let's fight him, dude. You know, they're gonna be like, oh, like some of them are gonna stop, others are gonna like bump into them and trip and fall in the dark and be like, why did you stop? And they're gonna see like this red glowing pile of bones coming at them while you're going this way. But the question is, how many guys came in from here, and which side did the chief come in on?
I think the chief.
Because is he smart, or is he just like, I know there's good stuff in
Chief
here?
came through the back.
I think he
sacrificed all these guys.
Yeah, I think he sends a bunch of dudes in this way. If I was him, I would send a bunch of them in right up front, and then he would wait to hear like what's going on, and then make his decision. Like maybe he's brought 4 guys with him, and he's like, listen, you guys are going to be in on a little secret here. There's something super valuable.
I think some of the guys that come through here though, pry gems off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I think they get away.
What about the chief? Does he get the cat's head?
I think the chief goes to the cat's head. Here's what I'm thinking. I murder a dozen.
Uh-huh.
You set 2 or 3 aflame, mash one with your mace, and the rest flee.
Okay.
4 or 5 of these guys do successfully, pull trinkets and gems off of the wall here. Crumbling some of that.
Maybe
plinth.
take some of the stuff out of the sarcophagus.
I think
their
sarcophagi. Of their sarcophagi, and I think we turn around, and the chief's standing right here, and the fire slowly dimming from your body.
Is he holding the cat's head?
I think he's holding the cat's head.
He's already got it?
Yeah.
I think he gets away with it if he's already... Because you're slow as hell.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking right now, here's the scene. I don't think anyone's left in the tomb. I think the only thing left right now is us and the chief standing right there at the sarcophagi.
Right.
Like reaching for, picking up the cat's head.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
I made up this elaborate story about myself versus this,
which I like. I love that
spirit.
story. That story's awesome.
And every time something is disturbed in here, this spirit is able to break free of its spell.
Sure.
Can it come back into play in the rules of this story?
Why not?
So it can.
Why not?
Then I think it does. Then
what's happened?
I don't know. I think it... Well, you said these guys get away?
I think the ones at the wall pull off gems and run.
And just take off when they see us, maybe?
I think they do.
Same thing.
And I think right now we're left alone with the chief.
So then the question becomes, if this thing is freed, does it do what it is always done, which is murder the people or steal the souls of the people? Or does it take this opportunity to come after us again?
I think it goes after the chief.
You think it goes after the person first?
Why not? Organic material would be more.
Because it has like this eternal thing with me where it's taken my head. Oh yeah, that was the question I was going to answer. Who claimed your head and why? I'm saying it's the...
Let me try one of these while you do that.
The spirit under the tomb.
What connection do you have to those who you've just killed or driven away? What memory do they evoke? I don't have any connection to them other than this whole thing, I think, has given me... I think I recall flashes of like raiding parties and villages that used to like cover the mountainside. I think at some points like I've had to go to battle to protect the family, which is the thing I love. And so like I think as I start, like I think I start slow, and as those flashes, those like recollections of my past life a whole millennia ago, I start moving faster, which is how I've been able to slaughter so many.
But
and
your magic is fading.
I'm still worn. I'm still worn and exhausted, but like every touch with like my own, like my history.
So you're just like fighting through, like it's like magic be damned. I'm just like using my own will.
I think so.
To fight these
But it
things.
won't last.
It's cool because I have this backstory going on in my head now about how we met.
Oh yeah? What is it?
Well, because like it was this thing that came and took out the one thing that you fought for your family, and like I was chasing this thing and it murdered your family, and you were like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Hey, do you want revenge? Come with me.
I like that.
I'm gonna get this thing."
That's
and you
awesome.
were like, "Okay." So that was and that's why you were willing to fight with me,
to stand by your
for
side
eternity in this tomb, because like you weren't gonna rest.
And so
until...
that recollection, like the magic
Yeah.
is surely fading, but there's something deeper than magic. There's something that's just something energy, like
Right.
universal, and that gives me life as I fight, but doesn't give me life in terms of the longevity. You know that I'm not long.
Right. But then this thing comes up.
Okay.
You're over here, knee deep in bodies.
Yes.
And I'm here, and like, here's the chief with the cat's head. So what happens at this point?
I think
how skilled is this thing at consuming souls? It's got to be amazing.
Does the cat's head have any power?
I think the cat's head, in my mind, is part of the curse, the seal that holds this
that's
thing.
the thing, if that's the
It's
seal,
not the thing, it's part of the seal.
What if at the same time it devours this chief, like this leader, it is also cracking, and like maybe he goes after that guy, but he's really targeting the cat's head. Maybe the spirit is...
Well, yeah, I think it's going after anything. That's why I said, does it go after us? Because in my mind, every part of this tomb is a part of a giant seal that holds this thing at bay. And every time something happens and it's trying to destroy any ability to reposition everything.
So tell me if I'm wrong or right, though. I'm imagining a visage of like a hand, like draped in cloth, and it just closes, and we just see organic matter and stone and the like glass figurine or the diamond figurine of the cat's head, all just sort of without a memory, like just implode into itself. Just twisting organic matter, sucking into its own existence.
What causes this?
This beast that comes out.
Oh, when it comes out and it grabs him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking more along the lines of like that's how it gets its power. Yeah, and it just sort of like takes... Ooh, that's a good question. Like, what does it do when it takes him? It just causes him to implode
That's
on
what
himself.
I'm thinking it's just like
I like that. Like it's something
rolls
terrible.
into itself. It's horrible.
It's not just like a soul getting sucked out and he goes, oh, and falls to the
Yeah.
ground. Like it's something horrifying to see. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, like it just implodes.
And there's
him
there's no blood splatter because
and then
it all
gets sucked into like a mini black hole almost.
Yeah.
Like this singularity where he just goes and he's gone. But you can see the blood like circling the singularity as it all goes inside, and he's flesh and metal and everything that's on him. Just, well, I like that. Then what happens to the cat's head?
I think it's still there, but
drops?
it's like a ruby.
But maybe when it drops, it gets cracked.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. Yeah.
Cool.
I dig it.
So it's not free yet, but like it exhumed itself and like, and then like has done more damage.
But since the cat's head dropped and we get back to where we were, it gets pulled back into its...
Yeah.
But it's making progress at getting out.
And let's just crack the...
Yeah.
Crack the skull of that guy. Okay.
Mr. Mittens.
Time passes.
Okay.
A decade, a century, centuries, a millennium, an age, an epoch. And we also need to resolve God fades... Or glory fades or God's laugh for each of us this time.
Oh, God's laugh, I'm saying.
Okay.
4.
Roll again. We already had that one.
3.
3. A skeleton's appearance is altered in some way.
You know what? So can we tie that into our story?
Of course you can.
Okay, so I'm saying this thing doesn't go down lightly. It knows that I'm the biggest threat because I've got the sigil. So I'm saying...
It's probably also frustrated that the lava didn't actually keep you from standing in your position.
So I'm saying it tries again to get rid of the sigil.
Okay.
And it goes for like whatever's left of my neck to try and remove those bones. And I think it does. It pulls the neck bones off, and the sigil almost falls into the lava, but I catch it, and now I have to hold it.
Yeah, you're holding it. So you've got a hand occupied.
Yeah, so now I have an occupied hand and no neck bones or anything left.
I dig that. That's awesome.
Okay.
Okay. Glory fades. Let me 4. A memory that a skeleton has previously regained is false, and the truth asserts itself.
A memory. There's a false memory that you have.
I think I did love my family.
Okay.
My surname was Stoneborn.
Okay.
And I believe that there is a history of like fights and barbarianism. But who among here richly deserves the fate? I don't think it's you.
Oh, you think it was you?
Like
the real truth is that you're the one who deserves this fate. Why? Because you were just maybe instead of just like fighting for your family, you guys were kind of murderous.
I don't think it's that.
Explain the stabby neck cutty.
I think for a long time I've blamed you for what we've been imbued. But I think the ultimate sin, or the ultimate, sin is a colloquial term, right? That happened, the wrongdoing that is doomed us to this, is my own entrenched ambition and hatred for the thing that took my family from me.
So you convinced me to do this.
So.
Ooh, I like that twist. Yeah, we thought maybe so I was the one who was like, here's how we're going to get our revenge.
Your struggle is righteous and holy, and you have been able to hold this thing at bay and have done so, in a way that is your destiny. But
right, but
my bitterness and my resentment for
as we came to the end of our times, maybe I was like, it's time for us to pass the torch, and you were like, how about this instead?
I said no.
Yeah, ooh.
Okay.
You were like, how about this instead? And maybe even I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. You're on your own, and like you convinced whoever the priests were that made this happen.
Well, there's 7 of them. There's 7 of the warrior priests.
Oh, you convinced them to fucking include me, you scheming bastard.
Time passes.
That's all right, I love you.
A decade, a century, centuries, a millennium, an age, or an epoch.
Do I get to pick this time?
Mm-hmm.
So here's my thoughts, is this guy was waiting in the wings. So no more than a decade. He knew that these guys were coming in here, they were going to mess stuff up, and that was going to give him the opportunity he needed to come in and really just wreck the place and get what he came here for. So I'm saying a decade.
Okay. Turn off the lights and sit in silence for a minute. Then say.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Arise and protect the tomb, skeletal guardians.
A necromancer and some of his mercenaries described them, illustrating how much more interested the necromancer is in you than the treasure. Surely this person will use their knowledge to try to control you. Will they succeed? Everyone answers none, 1, or 2 of the questions as they prefer. Choose once each, and the glory fades or the gods laugh. And here, we're either resigned to our fate, or they dash our bones against the wall.
Oh, dude, I'm saying they dash our bones. 100%.
Well, what happens? What do you think? What's
like
the
if
answer?
this is my if I get to choose this story?
What's going on? Tell me.
This necromancer, his whole plan, he knows now after a millennia of rumors and mythology.
Has he been alive the whole time, or is he just doing research?
He's done his research, and he knows what's in here. He knows everything about it. He's heard the stories.
The family that we let go
Yeah, they went back
wrote
and
stories. The robbers that stole from the wall
they know
transcribed.
that an archaeologist went in there and never came out. They know that
There's
like
enough information.
yeah, that some of these guys that came in and got the jewels and then escaped, they talked about it, and it's been 10 years since that last incident, and they know that like this guy, the chief, never came back, but some of these guys saw him. And remember, some of these guys fleed.
Mm-hmm.
So they all saw what was in here.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows what's up, and he's coming in here with mercenaries. And the mercenaries are there to protect him while he casts his spell to control us and release this.
I think I'm the first to be controlled. I think the magic is faded.
Your magic is faded, and you don't have anything left.
No. And I think, let me see here.
I don't even know if you get controlled. I think maybe you're so weak that these mercenaries come in and just own you.
No, I think I'm the first to be controlled. I don't know if
Okay.
the mercenaries take me out, but I think he comes through.
That's
and the
true. If
mercenaries
he
are
can-
flooding. I think
They're
I think
holding you at bay so he
I
can
think
get
I maybe
control of
maybe
you.
like stab one with a very like a slow movement like into the kidney or something.
Yeah.
And
But the other ones kind of keep you at bay. And then are you going to answer a question?
I am.
What was your name?
Stein Stoneborn.
Oh, okay.
And so that is the last thing that I, and then my brain, just bodily function, brain, everything just shuts down, and then I'm in control of the necromancer. The necromancer's magic is now stronger than the magic that held me in bay.
All right, I'm going to answer a question.
Okay.
Whom did you once love? There was a girl named Ancilla.
Ancilla.
And I was in love with her. And it was during my love that this thing first appeared and killed her, and that's why I swore my life when I was like 16
Young love.
to pursuing this thing. Yeah, and who knows, she probably was going to cheat on me with my bestie, but I never got to find out. 'Cause
Well, I mean, hey, we've all been there.
dedicated my life to young love. But yeah, so I think like obviously I'm coming to fight for you.
I'm gone. I think
I think they're holding you at bay so that he can gain control of you.
he has control of me.
And as I come to fight, you come after me.
I think so too. I think
Yeah.
I swing at you.
Yeah, I think you they let you go, they break away, the necromancer gets you
And
to
so
come
with the
after
sword
me.
that you made me, shattered and tattered and
You
ripped.
come after me.
I mean, and I think I am as powerful as when I was originally entombed.
Yeah, well, he just gave you new magic.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about the magic that faded from
Yeah,
all of this
it's-
crap.
it is-
You're just like
it is as
re-imbued,
If we had,
maybe even more powerful. And he's
and
got
he also
you.
doesn't. I have no sense of his magic. Leaves me with no sense of longevity.
Yeah.
I am destroying myself. Like I feel like as I swing, I'm recklessly like.
Yeah, and he
tripping
knows that I'm not here to fight you or really to fight them. I'm here to stop this thing. So he knows that if he pits you against me, that like one of these skeletons is probably going to destroy the other. And so you come after me, destroy me, and then I think he cracks that thing and hopes to gain control of this.
Well, let's see here. Glory fades. Something the skeletons are protecting is damaged. What and how?
Dude, it's got to be the cat's head.
Totally shattered.
He knows that the cat's head is like one of the strongest pieces of the seal, and so he like he has to destroy it with magic. Because it can crack, but it can't be completely destroyed without. I'm saying. So
yeah,
he just
I think so I think you come over here and I start battling you, and I back you up, and you're not really able to defend yourself because you're holding your amulet in your hand.
yeah,
still.
I've only got like the mace, so
and
I
so,
can just barely
and so
block.
the mace blocks one or two blows. You stumble backwards. I think I strike and like destroy the arm that's holding the mace.
Dude, no, I think you destroy the arm that's holding the sigil and knock me back into the lava.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I think I strike and destroy the arm that's holding the mace, and then I continue stepping forward. And remember, with the necromancer's magic, I have no care for myself.
Right.
And so I actually walk into the lava with you.
Oh.
And you're protected at the moment because you still have the amulet in your hand.
But then you knock it out.
And then I just slash and like, like.
Do you do it knowingly or just like blind rage kind of swinging? Or is it just?
I think there's a moment. I think there's a moment through. We talked about how the magic of memory is more powerful than the magic that was entombing us to begin with, right?
Oh, okay.
I talked about that with the barbarian hordes and with the family and everything.
Yeah.
I think there's a moment where I know what I'm doing.
He has this thing, and like I can't take him out unless I get rid of it.
I don't think that's it.
No.
I think I'm aware. I think I'm aware that you don't deserve the fate.
Oh, so you're like setting me free in a way.
I'm releasing.
Setting us both free.
Well, I'm
even though it's the necromancer's will.
I'm being.
So you don't care about this thing anymore.
I do, but I also think that maybe we're.
You're like, screw humanity if this is what they want.
No, because you got to remember, I tricked you into being here.
Right.
I tricked you to take your mortal struggle with this thing, and instead of passing on the mantle, to extend it through millennium.
Mm-hmm.
And so your war, your battle, I mean, it is. I felt the magic fade. I felt the power leave, and so, after such a long period of time, I'm doing what I can to release you from what I've consigned you to. Trusting and hoping that will reset and something else will rise up.
White knighting me, even though that's not what I want.
Well,
you're just assuming. I see.
I mean, I am just. You did agree that I was destroying you. I'm just describing my motives for it.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
But.
All right. So you come in, you knock me into the lava, you follow me into the lava. I think we both sink
into it. Yeah.
You knock the arm off that's holding the sigil, it falls, and we both melt.
I don't think the necromancer takes control of that beast, though.
I think it does.
I think the beast consumes the necromancer. I think the last thing we see here is all the organic matter, the necromancer and all his minions.
And everything that's in the tomb just imploding
into itself.
That'd be kind of cool. Well, you know what? As long as this thing survives, that's kind of in my head. We're protecting something. It looks like we're protecting the sarcophagus, but in reality, there's something underneath the sarcophagus.
It's another sarcophagus
that's so much more horrible, and that's what we were all put here to protect. Like all 7 of these warrior priests. The 2 skeletons, crystal
seal
to seal, the cat head, everything that's in here, maybe even the pillars position, they have carvings on them. And it's all just one giant seal to hold this thing in place, and now it's free.
Cool. What do you think? What do you think of this little RPG indie one-shot?
So here's the thing. You know that I like writing stories, and I write my own stories, and I love this idea. I like it because it's a vehicle for writing a short story. That's all it is.
It's a little one shot. It just gives you the space to explore.
Yeah. And I feel like after this I'm like, dude, you could write a story about this. Like
you kind of want to, right? You want to sit down and you want to be like, take this home with you.
Write a short story.
Take this home with you and just write what happened.
It's kind of like there's a backstory to Jesse's character, there's a backstory to my character.
You've got it.
And yeah, and then you've got like this whole "this is how it all ends" kind of thing. There's like a La Llorona sort of spirit.
You also at one point wanted to skip the sitting in silence.
Okay, so here's the thing.
I personally think the sitting in silence adds weight and gravity.
It does. I'll admit now. In the beginning, I was like, "Come on, really?" Yeah. But like, I didn't feel like it added weight. But there was definitely a meditation where I was thinking at one point. At first I was thinking about. I want to pour myself some more bourbon.
Which we got. We got you that.
But then there was points in there where I was like, where's this story going? And it's interesting because there's a part of my brain that was fighting against it where I was like, this is dumb. Why are we doing this? But then there was this other part of my brain where I was like, oh, how cool would it be if this, how cool would it be if it expanded out into this universe that we haven't even written yet, and that was cool. That was and then I realized there's more to this. You're writing a short story that's it's kind of just giving you guidelines for it, and I can't. There's I can't remember what it's called, but there's a site that you can go to where it just gives you little premises. And you try to write stories based on those premises.
Well, and here's the cool thing. For anyone that's watched to this point that has enjoyed the storytelling aspect, there's bonus material with things to try, like play with a facilitator who's controlling the bad guys, rotate the spotlight, so each question introduced is answered by by another person if you're playing with a larger group.
Yeah.
Choose a map maker who's designing and drawing and creating, which I kind of did with you. I mean, you kind of did the visual of this. Surprise yourself, so roll a die on everything instead of just on those end ones. Make something up. So create a wider RPG space with it.
We kind of did that.
Play with times. The moments when the skeletons have agency, when the Sanctuary of the Tomb is violated, can stretch out for them. So you can include flashbacks, soliloquies, and thunderous telepathic arguments, screeching into both your past and future.
Stretching.
Embrace the distractions. Connect the dots. Use variants. I mean, I feel like we did a lot of these ourselves.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was kind of looking at you. I'm like, am I going too far? Because I can.
No.
Dude, I can write a whole story.
But the interesting thing here is we're both storytellers.
Yeah.
A lot of people that play this aren't that though, so they're given the framework.
Guides you to write a story.
And we then
that's
played
amazing.
with it.
Yeah.
And we played with it. Here's the other cool thing.
I like it.
We haven't even dipped into half this. This is a small little book. Look how many pages we've used compared to how many there are.
Oh, it keeps going?
Echoes of War.
Or is that a totally different story?
A variant. Wind howls across the blood-soaked fields. The great war machines lie abandoned, sucked deep into the mud. The sounds of battle give way to the whispered prayers of wounded, tired, and weak. But deep beneath the layers of dirt and rust, we hear the echoes of war. The armies above rot, but we have not earned no such easy rest. The clash of metal against metal reverberates in our skulls. We grip our weapons in the dark, and when the armies march again, we are ready. We hear all, and we wait.
It's another skeletons.
The unsealed tomb.
Ooh.
The time of dust.
Dope.
The desecration. So it's another, with different environments, different storylines, different trigger points,
Nice.
and this one's set during war. You have Firemount. You want to read the premise to Firemount?
Sure.
And that's something that I find cool too, is not only can we tell a new story with our initial premise, but here are variants on that premise.
Beneath the fire mount all is not darkness. The angry mountain stirs and its veins glow orange and red. In this sepulchral light we the accursed bide our time in the primordial heat of creation itself. But even in this unlivable hellscape there is life, of a sort. And there are worse things that would violate the sanctity of the tomb, and these things fill us with the manic joy of freedom and the terror of a fresh contest of arms, and we destroy them. Our swords may melt, but we destroy them. Our bones may burn, but we destroy them.
I kind of dig that one.
Yeah, that's dope. I like it.
You're facing off with old friends, offerings, hellbeast, replacements, familiar ghosts, pit slaves. I mean,
These are fun. I like it.
and you've got more tomb tables.
I feel lame because every time you bring me in here, I'm like, that was fun. And everything is fun because it's so new to me. But
And here we have all our characters. So the silver torque, the rusted shirt, tattered cloak, headless.
Oh, see, there's my little bit of neck left.
Arrow shield, and who else do we have here? The outsider.
Oh, what happened to that poor
Horror.
dude? Ooh, what? I want to be the horror. Was that even an option?
The crawler.
Wait, I didn't have these.
And Big Head.
Dude, I totally would have been Big Head.
And so that's the Skeletons. It is a tiny little indie RPG by Jason Morningstar.
Good job, Jason. Yeah, that was fun.
It's very charming. It sets the foundation to something so cool.
Yeah, I like. I've never played a game like this before. Obviously, I've never played a lot of games like these, any of these, but that was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah,
well,
I enjoyed it.
Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you actually made it to this point, leave a comment down below letting us know what your favorite part of the story was and where you might have went differently. I'd love to hear your variant. Like if you're talking about the barbarian hordes, maybe my family was the lie that was exposed, or maybe it was the fact that you were in eternal struggle. Maybe you're like working behind the scenes to actually like bond with this thing. I don't know, but let us know where you would have divided in this storyline.
Can
if
I
you'd
ask a
been part of
question?
this. Sure.
I'm saying, like, if you like this story, I would be curious to see, like, what happens to the world afterwards.
Oh.
Like, after this
the
thing that we
ending.
talked about
Write
gets
the ending.
loose.
That's cool.
Like, what happens next?
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Ignore my questions. So for the 7 of you that have made it to the very end,
The 2.
do that. Do that. Whatever the case, thank you for being here. Whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Play some indie RPGs. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.